They tell you it's a system of prosperity, a ladder of opportunity where anyone can climb. But have you ever stopped to ask what the rungs of that ladder are made of? What is money? Is it the paper in your wallet, the numbers on a screen? Or is it something else entirely? A tool of control, a carefully constructed illusion that benefits a select few at the expense of the many. Look beyond the polished facade of Wall Street and the reassuring speeches of politicians, and you'll find a story they never wanted you to hear. A story of power, debt, and deception that has shaped the world we live in. It all begins not with a printing press, but with an idea. An idea that money doesn't have to be tied to anything real. In the hallowed halls of central banks, an invisible ledger is created. With a few keystrokes, currency is brought into existence, not as a representation of value, but as debt. This is the bedrock of our modern financial system. Every dollar, every euro, every yen is born as a loan, an IOU to a private banking cartel. Animated graphics on a screen can make trillions appear from nothing. A digital alchemy that would make ancient kings blush. This newly created money is then lent to governments, who in turn pass the burden of interest onto you, the taxpayer. From its very inception, the money you earn is shackled to a debt that can never truly be repaid, ensuring a perpetual flow of wealth from the masses to the masters of the system. This cycle of debt creation isn't just a mechanism, it's a weapon. It fuels a recurring and predictable pattern of boom and bust, a manufactured rhythm of economic crisis. First comes the easy credit. Money is cheap, loans are plentiful, and markets soar to dizzying new heights. Housing bubbles inflate, stock markets become casinos, and a collective delusion of unending prosperity takes hold. But this expansion is built on a foundation of sand. At a moment of their choosing, the flow of credit is tightened. Interest rates rise, the cheap money vanishes, and the bubble inevitably pops. The crash is always as dramatic as the ascent was euphoric. We saw it in 2008. The foreclosed homes with family belongings strewn across the lawn, the lines of newly unemployed workers stretching for blocks, the protests of citizens who realized the game was rigged. Each crisis is a transfer of wealth on a colossal scale, as assets are snapped up for pennies on the dollar by the very institutions that caused the collapse. As the dust settles from each manufactured crisis, the true outcome becomes chillingly clear. The gap between the ultra-rich and everyone else widens into a chasm. While ordinary people lose their homes, their jobs, and their savings, the architects of the system are bailed out, their profits privatized, and their losses socialized. The wealth of the world becomes increasingly concentrated in fewer and fewer hands, creating a new global aristocracy that operates beyond the reach of democratic accountability. They own the corporations, they fund the politicians, and they control the narrative. We are left to fight over the scraps, trapped in a system designed to keep us perpetually in debt and dependent. As we stare at the spinning coin of our economic fate, the real question isn't whether it will land on heads or tails, but whether we will ever have the courage to stop it from spinning and demand a system that serves all of humanity, not just a powerful elite.